You knew it was going to happen, you knew we were going to talk about the best and worst of the AdeptiCon 2024 reveals from Games Workshop, because some of you didn't make it. Some of you weren't watching at 3 o'clock in the morning if you're in the UK. Shame on you, I was there, and that's why I am sleep deprived and loopy today. Now, a couple of things before we get fully into this. We're going to cover the best things, we're going to do the runners-up, and we're going to talk about the things that weren't so great about the reveal stream last night. But I know that you are going to be sitting there going, look, it's Thursday, what about Heresy Thursday? We'll talk about that tomorrow, only 24 hours late. What do you want from me? Secondly, this video is sponsored by Warmag, so in a moment, we're going to hear more from them. But first, we've got to start out strong, okay? We've got to start out strong. I'm going in with my favourite thing that we saw yesterday. My absolute favourite thing that we saw was this. Now, oh my god, just looking at them again. Whose idea was this? So, this is an Underworlds thing. But, to be fair, it's an awesome Underworlds thing. These are what are they called again? These are the Brethren of the Bolt. I knew that. And I love them. This is absolutely mad. These are the most, the Nutter of the Year awards. They go to these guys and gals and potentially others. Now you might be thinking to yourself, why have you chosen these specifically as your favourite? Of all the things that were shown off, why would you go for these specific models? And frankly, if you haven't already picked up on the fact that this lot have got lightning rods attached to their heads, and that those lightning rods are attached by chains to their weapons, and that they use lightning from Sigmar recalling his Stormcast Eternals to bash people with charged weapons. Look, I don't know what to tell you. That is genius. That is some galaxy brain 5-head nonsense going on right there. I saw these and I just could not believe that once again someone has managed to one-up just the overall insanity that exists in Age of Sigmar as a whole. I mean, look, this particular warband is being led by 2 lads in a trench coat. Literally 2 guys in a trench coat. I'm not even making that up. That's not me making a joke. That is 2 people in a trench coat. Basically, the guy who's leading this warband is sitting on the shoulders of his horribly burnt and scarred son. Why? Why is that the setup? Why is that the setup? Of all the ways to enter battle, why would you sit there and go, you know what, I think the best thing for all of us is for me to ride my son into battle, who, by the way, is covered in horrific wounds from being repeatedly electrocuted. What? Why? What? Oh my god. I love them. They're extremely silly, right? They're very silly. Let's not beat around the bush. They are daft. Like, really daft. They are up there in terms of some of the more bizarre things that Games Workshop have decided to do, and yet I can't help but love it. It is my kind of silly. It's goofy on the outside, but then when you think about just how much pain and how awfully, burnt and scarred these people are getting, just so that they can not really all that efficiently hit people with lightning charged weapons. Look at the bandages on these lot. Look how covered they are. That's because they keep getting electrocuted over and over and over again. That is not conducive to a long and healthy lifestyle. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite, in fact. This lot are guaranteeing themselves all sorts of agony every time they go into battle, but they've just got that much fervour and belief. They are just that, zealous about everything. It's a really fun and kind of silly take on the whole zealot thing. I really like it. It's very over the top. And to be honest, that's one of the things that makes it so good. I mean, the guy who's riding his son into battle, that's quite the phrase, which I don't know that there's a better way to phrase it than that. I mean, it's technically true, but also I don't like it, but whatever. There are so many bandages around his chest and stomach. That is bad. That speaks to a lot of electricity induced burns. That's not great. That's not nice for him. And look at the guy at the bottom there. How many bandages do you need for one human being? Apparently all of them. when they are willingly getting struck by lightning over and over again. And the thing is, the thing that really gets me, the thing that I really, really like about like the background of this lot, given how genuinely quite horrific this is, it's the fact that this lot didn't strap the lightning rods to their heads to see what would happen. They got into this by being struck by that lightning in the first place. They got a taste of it and they went, oh, you know what? I need more of this. I need more of this. Let's go. Absolute insanity in the best possible way. I'm sure there'll be those of you who don't agree with this particular pick, but this is the one. This is the one that I sat there and was like, hell yes. Hell yes. Of all the things that we were shown, or vaguely teased, a little bit of a spoiler there for the worst of section later in the video, I mean, I just couldn't get enough of them. Grand, 10 out of 10. Now, have you ever wanted to put your army in a box, tip it upside down, and shake it around a bit? Give it a real proper, like, absolutely go for it. Have you ever wanted to do that? No? Am I the only one, really? As you can probably tell from my reckless defiance of gravity, Warmag is a magnet-based transportation system for your miniatures. Warmag provides base sheets that fit exactly within really useful boxes, as you can see on the end there. Warmag are big on listening to feedback, and one of the things that people asked for was that the magnets be less obtrusive. So they introduced these magnets that sit within the bases for the miniatures. So you can see that my old Fellbat there is balancing on the back of my hand as though there is nothing untoward, there's nothing going on beneath the base itself, and yet the magnet is sitting pretty right in the middle. For more information, follow the link in the description and the pinned comment to the Warmag website and to their Instagram account. Thank you very much to Warmag for sponsoring the video. Let's get back to the best and worst of AdeptiCon 2024. Next up, we have a new Chaos Lord on foot. There was also one with a jump pack, but I wasn't quite feeling it as much as this lad right here, because this is fantastic. I just really, really like this. Also, good number of options. This is very reminiscent to the Chaos Lord that I had when I started my Iron Warriors. The metal one, I think it might still be available in resin, maybe? I can't remember, but we've got a nice number of options. Even though there is a tactical rock, it's very true to the sculpt that I remember from back in the day. So, whilst at the time I was like, oh no, tactical rock, I'll let it slide. I'll let it slide. I mean, come on. You've got to allow these ones every now and again, especially when it's something like this. Although, wait, we might need to investigate. Was that Chaos Lord standing on a tactical rock, or was he standing on a Space Marine helmet? I'm not sure. We'll have to find out. I knew it. I knew he was standing on a helmet, not on a rock. I have no idea why I suddenly remembered that, but I take it back. No to the tactical rock. Give him a Space Marine helmet. Although, actually, I constantly complain about when they put faction-specific stuff on bases. So tell them to get rid of the tactical rock to put something else in that I also complain about kind of feels like I'm presenting a scenario in which they can't win. It's fine. There are quite a few things I really like about this model. I'm not 100% sold on the belt, but I love the design of the chain axe. That's fantastic. I really like the power fist. Loving the kind of clawed pose on that. The ripped cloak looks great. So does the fur going around over the shoulders. Really like that. The helm, that is a quality Chaos Space Marine helm. I am loving that helmet. That is fantastic. I genuinely love that. That's great. The skulls on the power pack are a lovely callback to that 3rd edition mini, as are the spikes coming out of said power pack. They've gone for a different arrangement. They've spaced them out a little bit further, but you know what? I don't mind it. I actually think it works pretty well. With the horns on the helmet, it makes the silhouette a bit more, like, slightly busier, but also slightly busier but cleaner is a bit of a contradiction. I more mean if the spikes were closer together, they would kind of blend with the horns, but because they're a bit further apart, you get more of a separation between those two, like, decorative elements, if you will. Things like the holster being tied onto the thigh armour with what looks like old bandage, that's a really cool touch. Love that. And a really nice thing is that we get options. We get options. We get a bare head that I will never use, but we do get a plasma pistol. We also get a power maul and a thunder hammer. Love that. Love that. It also means that you can recreate that old loadout of plasma pistol and axe, which is a lovely touch. Now, I thought I'd throw him in here that we do have the Chaos Lord with jump pack, but I don't know. He's just not grabbed me the same way as the lad on foot. Nothing wrong with him. Nothing particularly, bad or not, aesthetically pleasing. I just really like that Chaos Lord on foot, There is a bit of Harold World Claimer about his jump pack, but not quite as over the top. And I do think that perhaps it might be time for some new Raptors, because, I mean, this looks slightly better than the Raptors we've got, and effectively it looks like a Raptor, so maybe something to consider in the future. Now, I'm afraid we're going to have to go from 40k into AOS again. In my defence, though, who doesn't love a good bone centaur? Who is not on board for a centaur made of bone? A skelecentor, if you will. That's a bad name for it, and I don't think that's what he's actually called. No, he's a Cavalos Centauri. I knew it wouldn't be Bone Centaur, or what did I just say? Skelecentor? God, I feel like it's been a long day. I think I've been awake for like 12 hours at this point, and it's only 2:45. That's probably why things are a little bit loopy. Now, this lot are fun. We do have the Bone Centaur. We also have some bony good boys. That is something that I think should never be said by a person. I think it's fair to say that. No one should ever say that. Bony good boys is... No, let's just pretend that didn't happen. So we've got those. We've also got these winged lads right here, which I actually really like. They are pretty nightmarish, pretty scary. Basically, these things are cursed creations, and they should not exist, which, I mean, comes through in the design. I do like the design of the wings. The wings look really fun. The fact that they don't have any arms, it's just the wings. Yeah, that's a cool design right there. That's a cool design. There's also just two normal blokes. Well, normal? Normal in the context of the Ossiarch Bone Reapers. They're not normal in the context of, like, guys you would walk past on the way to the pub, but they are normal in the fact that they've got the right number of arms and legs, and they're not a bone centaur. So, you know, normal. I have to admit, the other things that I really liked from the Warcry announcement were these guys, the Sylvaneth, because... I mean, we have a guy with a ton of bees. That is a lot of bees. I think it's fair to say that if you just stopped someone and said, hey, how many bees is a load of bees? And then showed them an increasing number of bees and ended with this guy, I think most people would look at that and go, that is a lot of bees. That is quite a lot of bees. Not only that, but the weird roots growing out of the head where the hair normally comes out, that's a really nice touch. There's something kind of... I don't know, eldritch horror about that. I mean, the Sylvaneth have got a little bit of kind of nightmarish woodland stuff going on. A little bit. It's not a little bit, it's loads. Kind of the whole point of the faction. But these really turn that up. They really turn that up, and it looks great. It's not just Nicolas Cage that we've got, though. We also have some more Revenants, which... I mean, the extra growth on these is what's really selling me on them. The Revenants are just really interesting. They're a really nice kit. They're very nicely sculpted. The whole idea of them is that really nice mix of like nature and nightmare. And these have got just a bit extra going on. They've got a bit more kind of growth coming out of the heads. There's things like extra mushrooms coming out. We've got this kind of twisting tendrils and roots that are really overtaking them. I like these a lot. They've done a really good job with them. Like the dude whose arm is just sprouting a bunch of thorny like brambles. Love that. Love that. It's great. And the nice thing is with this warband, even the dryads are getting a bit of love. Like I've got dryads. I've got loads of dryads. These having their little bit of extras, having their just extra decoration, just a little bit different. Really like it. Really like it. Oh, and there's also this, the Ravening Gnarl Oak, which, what the hell? What the hell is this? What is going... So, it's just a tree. It's just basically a big tree with a big mouth. There's a platform up there, presumably so you can chuck people into the big mouth. What were they looking at when they went for this direction for this particular bit of scenery? Like, were they watching Dune? Or maybe Star Wars? Going for a bit of Sarlacc? Going for a bit of worm, maybe? Or were they just having weird dreams? I don't know. It's also very interesting that it looks like it's being tied down, or at least they've tried to tie it down. Is it just wandering around eating people? All these questions I have, and I didn't think we really got necessarily an answer to them, but I don't care that much because it looks fantastic. Look at it. Absolutely horrific. Brilliant. Now, we can't talk about all of that without briefly touching on Kill Team. As a positive, I did like what they showed off for Kill Team. But these are causing somewhat of an issue. I've seen a few questions about these, because these Leagues of Votann are, in my opinion, very cool. I really like them. I really like the overall design. They look like the Hearthkin Pioneers, except they're on foot, and they've got like a slightly different role in this by the sounds of things. I really enjoy the overall aesthetic of these armoured people with overcoats on. I like that. I think it's cool. But I may be in the minority. There's been a lot of like, why do they even have those coats on chat? Which is totally... I mean, it's fair. It's fair. They're already wearing armour. They're already wearing armour. I would assume the armour already insulates them from cold and heat and whatever. So having big overcoats over the top is maybe not necessarily something that is, well, necessary. Then again, I put it to you that any outfit can be improved by putting on a big coat. Literally any outfit. Doesn't matter what outfit it is. You could name any outfit, sticking a big coat on it like these guys have. Absolutely, 100% improves the look. To me, they're just doing the fashion souls thing, right? They're just doing the fashion souls thing. They don't necessarily need that, or they don't necessarily feel that it's adding anything, but it looks good, and that's the important thing. That is the key to all of this. It doesn't matter how badly the fight's going, or how badly you're getting, just generally beaten about the place. You're not going to switch out to something that makes more sense. You're not going to go for resistances. No, you're going to continue to die over and over again, but you're going to look damn good doing it. And that, I feel, is their entire philosophy, especially this legend who has got the 2 pistols and the holsters down the front and a big overcoat on. What a hero. That is a lad who is fashion forward. And you know what? I 100% respect it. And I think they're fine. And we should just leave them alone. They're good. They're all good. Oh, and we also got new Brood Brothers. I mean, it's basically just Genestealer Occult stuff attached to the new Cadian box. That's what it is. But then again, it's nice that they've now been updated, and it's something that I have been expecting them to do for a while now. It is initially a kill team thing, but it will become a 40k thing soon enough, I'm sure. But yeah, they look good, but then again, that's because the new Cadian stuff looks good, and they've added Genestealer Occult stuff onto it. I'm pretty sure the Genestealer Occult stuff is also new. I don't think they've just dumped the old upgrade sprue in here, although I could be wrong, but yeah, they look good. Now, I said this was the best and worst of the AdeptiCon 2024 reveals, and we do have to touch on the 2 biggest disappointments, which were the teasers for Necromunda and Warhammer the Horus Heresy. I know they were only down as teasers, I realise that it says that on the thing, but you know what? I still kind of expected a little bit more from both. I mean, the Necromunda teaser was basically a slow pan and then a silhouette shot of a new Necromunda gang. It looked sort of Mechanicus-esque. Fine, but very short, and it was basically just, look out in the future for this, which, I mean, we're always looking out in the future for new reveals. That is literally how Games Workshop works as a company. We constantly get an influx of new stuff to look at, week in, week out, never-ending churn, etc., etc. So, it just wasn't really anything particularly special, and given I know quite a few people were really hoping for something quite big for Necromunda, even though there was a lot to get through, it kind of fell a bit flat to me. However, to be fair, the Necromunda tease was completely made to look fantastic in the face of the Horus Heresy tease, which was just the logo for like the Mechanicum Knights, and that was it. That was your whole lot. You didn't really get anything more than that. It was literally like 4 seconds long or something, and it was just like glitchy logo. Woo. Okay, cool. I mean, at this point, my assumption is that 99% of the kind of just standard troops and standard ranges from the Horus Heresy will end up in plastic, just like everything else. And we've already got the Cerastus chassis, knights. So I just kind of assumed that would be a thing at some point anyway. And given that the alternatives are the Mechanicum Knights or just the Mechanicum, I was really like, oh, are we going to get something for them? Kind of technically, but not really fully. I don't know. It just didn't fill me with excitement, you know? Sometimes you get a teaser and you're like, oh my god, this is going to be great. Other times you get a teaser and you go, yeah. And they were very much both a kind of, yeah. And that's it, it brings the mood down a little bit. It brings it down a little bit. It was kind of salvaged in the end by the AOS 4.0 trailer, which was really good. Really liked that. I liked the animation they did. I mean, we got to see new Jezels, we saw Gatling gun, we saw the Skaven just going mental. It was great. Really liked it. But the teasers did not do anything for me, and I saw quite a lot of that in the chat as well. Just a lot of I kind of hoped there'd be even just a few seconds more, but there wasn't. Finally, I think the worst thing about the reveals, and this is a tricky one, right? I'm gonna preface this. The overall production quality of the reveals was, I think, a step above what they've done previously, because it was all pre-recorded. So they're able to do interviews in their studio, which the studio looks great. They were able to get everyone properly mic'd up and everything sorted out. It looked good. It sounded good. They, for some reason though, really honed in on doing panning shots. So a panning shot is basically the thing goes from left to right across the screen. They did this for every single miniature that they showed off. We didn't have, I think we had one static shot of a model across the entire stream. That's actually not good. See, the whole thing with the reveals is that you're revealing new miniatures. Like, most people are wanting to see the next thing coming up, or looking to see the newest miniatures for 40k, or for AOS, or the old one, or whatever. That's the big draw. That's what people are really excited about. And frankly, it was just impossible to get a good look at any of them, because all of them were shot on some sort of dolly where they had a really nice staging setup. Hello, in the process of editing this, I've just realised that what I've done is basically use panning shots and dolly shots interchangeably, when actually they're two different techniques. So a panning shot is where the camera stays in one location but turns, whereas a dolly shot is where you put the camera on a thing and it moves physically. They're not the same thing, but when it comes to what we're talking about in this specific section, the end result is effectively the same, which is that during the reveal, couldn't see shit. This is the thing. It's better than anything I could do. The way they set up environments, the way they do staging, the way you have things like mist and fog, like the depth they have on their displays for taking the pictures of models and of filming them, it's really good. It's like impressive from a production standpoint, right? But it's harder to appreciate when every single shot of any miniature is slowly going across the screen like that, or slowly going across the screen like that, or sort of turning around the screen like that, or going or down the screen like that. It got kind of ridiculous. There was a point during the stream where they had like one chaos model to show off for AOS, which was a lady on a big lizard, and I genuinely lost count of how many times they used the same shot of that way and that way and that way. It was insane how many times we got the same panning shot of the model, and yet we got no pictures of it. Like, in the stream, I had to go to the Twitter account for Warhammer Community and look at images on there, because that was the best way to see detail of the things that were being revealed on the reveal stream. Doing that for like little videos and like stings and trailers and stuff, that's absolutely fine. I just don't think you need it for the actual like models. You don't need it to show off the models. You've already given us the dramatic sweeps, the panning from side to side in those trailers, where we get to see them in squad formation and stuff, where we get to see them in those really cool like staging and battlefields and those really cool like setups where you have like an appropriate environment, as though it's like a real thing. We get those in the trailers. We don't need them to be repeated over and over and over and over and over again during an interview with no actual static images of what we're trying to see. Because moving images fare worse on streams than static images. It also, I mean, your eyes fare worse trying to keep track of something that's shifting than something that's just still. That's just a thing. If the image is like, there it is, and it's not moving, it's not panning, it's not going anywhere, you can get more detail from that image than if it's constantly moving about. That was a real issue for me. I really struggled with it, because I was just like, oh my god, I just want to see what it looks like, but it's all dramatically lit, and it's all doing this, or that, or this, or that, and it just makes it so much harder to actually see the things that are being revealed. And the reveals are kind of the point, you know? Anyway, that's that little rant over. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you thought of what was shown off in this video in the comments down below. I will link the full stream VOD from when we covered it at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's a bit mad. I'm just going to warn you now, if you do watch it, it's a bit unhinged, but it was 3 AM. I was very tired. I'm very tired now, to be fair. Thank you very much to Warmag for sponsoring this video. As I said previously, there'll be a link in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Go and check them out both on Instagram and on their website and take a look at their goods. We will cover the newest Heresy Thursday thing tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.